Tommy, it's been a great season with the Oxford Race and Ducati team. If someone had said to you prior to pre-season testing you'd be in a title contention in the championship coming into the final round, what would you have said?
I just said I know. No. To be honest, once I joined the Moto Rapido Ducati team last year, it just worked really well for me and the team. Then once we got obviously the information of this new Ducati V4 that was coming out, it was just looking forward to seeing how that would plan out really. The reports in reviews were phenomenal, but obviously the anxious or word would be until we got to Monte Blanco was the main thing. As soon as I rolled out in Monte Blanco, I knew potentially we were going to be in for a very strong season because the bike, for me, for my riding style, worked really well. So to be honest, I'm not surprised we're in this position, purely for the fact is the team have got the best out of the bike for me this year, and it's just all worked, consistent and well.
Do you think it's fair to say that you've exceeded expectations of what maybe you thought going into the start of the season before any of the championship had started?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously this year we've obviously now got Oxford Products as a title sponsor, so it's certainly helped us a lot. As for the team, we're in a lot stronger position. Yes, it's always going to be difficult to compete against PBM. They're the factory supported team, but then in the same aspects they've done a phenomenal job and they've got a lot of experience. Something for myself and the team weren't lacking, but we've not been in this position before, so we are learning almost every round, silly bits that you don't think, even silly bits of information on my pit board I need to know when another rider's perhaps out, because it could be fundamental for the championship. So we've learnt a lot, and like I said, PBM have been in this position with Shaky many a times, and like I said, they've done a great job, so not taking it away from them. But it's nice to be the most consistent competitor to them on the same bike. I'd like to think I'm certainly a thorn in their side, because they don't need or want to be beaten by a privateer team on the same bike. And unfortunately for us, it's always been, I've always managed to beat one or the other. It's either I'm beating Scott or I'm beating Josh. And on the odd occasion I can beat a pair of them in the same race. So yeah, all in all, we've had a great year. Through previous years, I've had good results one weekend, then struggled another weekend. And like you say, this has been, for myself and the team, the most consistent and strongest year of to date for both of us. And that is, like you said, really down to being able to fight for podiums every weekend. Going into Alton, having 2 strong seconds, I kind of felt so good on the bike. The only challenge was going to be going from circuit to circuit. I kind of felt good, the team felt good. It was just seeing how the Ducati would perform. It's such different tracks like Cadwell's, Alton Parks, in Brands Hatches, everywhere. Is that in England, the beauty we have is each circuit is got such a character of his own, and none of them compare that much. So to make a bike work all year, it's such a different circuits is what gave us a consistency. And me as a rider, it gave me the belief in my ability, and I've always believed in the team, and they've just done nothing but excel all season.
And do you think that it's fair to say that the team have brought out the best in you this year?
Yeah. Do you know, through my career, there's people that sort of stand out to me really. I can remember years ago when I kind of joined Motorpoint Yamaha, and it was with Rob Mack, and we got a mega. Everyone was almost a little bit like, Rob Mack are either Muller Tom or they got on wow. And I genuinely still stay in touch now with Rob. The same with Sean Muir, great guy, still stay in contact with him. But when I've joined Wilf, we sort of text through the week, almost like mates. I'll be taking the mick out of him and he'll take the mick out of me, and it just works. We are genuinely here. Wilf doesn't have to run a team. He doesn't really get anything out of it, but he loves doing it, and I love racing motorbikes, and I think that's why the passion works, and I think that's why other teams have misconstrued my passion in the wrong way. I have a different way of translating stuff, and I don't say things in the wrong way. I say it to get the best out of me, the team, and the bike. And Wilf in the whole team appreciate that.
You've been the most consistent rider in terms of podium finishes during the season, and from Donington to Snetterton, despite the crash in race 1 there, at that point of the season the momentum was almost going in your direction. Do you feel that was kind of like a turning point in the season? Yeah,
it's been tricky, because obviously ultimately the thing that is, I say let us down, that's the wrong word, the thing that we've lacked in is wins. We've obviously got the one win, which is a good achievement in some aspects, but it's a bit of a disappointment as a rider in other aspects. But like you said, we've permanently been fighting for podiums and got a lot of, I think 15 podiums maybe this season up to now. So I can't be disappointed, and there was part of the season that looked like if we could have just got a bit more momentum, then I feel like we'd have been the more dominant force. Unfortunately, there is a number of elements that can hamper that. And you know, like I say, myself and the team have just permanently kept the belief and the focus on what we have set out to achieve. Yes, we want to become British champions. Yes, that will happen. Whether it's this year or next year or when, I don't know. But as long as you keep that focus and that belief, it'll be there.
You briefly just touched on it. The highlight of the season was the team's first win in the Superbike class at Alton Park. At the time, how much of a emotional rollercoaster was that for you, given how much the team had been fighting for that over previous years and you were the first rider to do it for them?
Yeah, exactly. I think for definite, it was like a little bit of a monkey off my back. Even though I've won before, it was a monkey off my back to get it for the first win for us for 2019 with the new V4, and it's obviously the first ever win for the team. So they were actually absolutely made up, and it put a lump in my throat to do it for them. But yeah, the highlight certainly is Alton, and the win come in a kind of a nice way. We really had phenomenal pace all weekend, and I believe that a little bit of error on my behalf, but we certainly could have got 2 wins that weekend. I've learned, I know I've been in the series a long time as such now, but I genuinely feel like this year I've learned so much about myself, about riding tactics, stuff that I've lacked in a lot, and now I kind of have to believe in my own ability, in my own pace, which I always have done, but I've been a bit, a bit, in a rush always to try and lead the race, but leading it at the wrong point. So to finally get it done at Alton Park in the sort of way we did was a great feeling.
The Showdown races have been fairly brutal so far, and you've had podiums, but it didn't start the way you wanted to in the first race at Assen. How much of a sort of crushing feeling was that, and then having to turn it around for the second race and then on to Donington where you did the same again, 2 podiums? Yeah,
exactly. Assen was Assen. Ultimately, we lost potentially 25 or 20 points there. It is a blow for definite, and it's certainly not the way you would want to start a Showdown. This year, of all years, it seems that you have to be very consistent and not put a foot wrong. Normally in previous years, in the Showdown, one of the top 6 total contenders might have at least 1 DNF or something. Obviously, I have, Pete has, I'm not sure about Danny and Tarrant, but Josh in Scott seem to have had it quite, I say plain sailing, it isn't, because they've been riding very strong. They've just been very consistent, so I could do with them guys having a few DNFs, I must be honest, but the way we bounced back at Assen was a nice feeling, and there was part of me that thrived off of knowing going into Assen, Scott was fast all weekend. Scott was fairly dominant all weekend, but I felt really strong and a sense of kind of funniness almost, knowing that I was actually able to really run it to him hard. The crash was a bit odd, I must be honest, because I didn't lose it on the brake, I lost it off the brake just as I was getting on the gas, which is a bit frustrating, but it's racing motorbikes.
And coming into the final round, you are third out behind Scott and behind Josh, but being kind of the underdog is something you seem to thrive on within the championship. How do you approach the final 3 races of the weekend, and what do you think would be the best outcome for you?
Obviously, the best outcome is definitely to just come away British champion. It's what I've dreamed of. It's what I dream and focus and work for. But realistically, we have to be, keep our feet on the ground. And I genuinely, like you said, really, there's an element of pressure off of me. I could do with Josh and Scott getting tangled up, and hopefully coming across and seeing on my pit board, Redding out, Brooks out. That would be ideal. But ultimately, we are here and just going to take each race as each race really. The weather might play a part in it. I think we just got to enjoy every race, to be honest. And the target is always just to try and get 3 race wins in. If we can do that, then the championship almost will take care of itself. If we win all 3 races in Scott and Josh DNF in all 3, we win it. Done. Is that likely? Probably not, but you just never know.
If you were to sum up the 2019 Bennetts British Superbike Championship season of yours to this day, how would you summarise how it's gone so far this year?
And should I do it in one word? It's a toss-up between fantastic and phenomenal. No, it has been great. It's just been good fun. We've been lucky with the weather. The tracks have been mega, as always. The organisation's been great. It's just been another fun year in the circus, shall I say. But all in all, to sum up, 2019 has been a memorable season for us. And already looking and focused on 2020 really.